Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So another week of SNS, and I've got a lot of machine work for you in this episode. At work, I've been working on 2 new gearbox shafts. This is for a large gearbox that we nicknamed the Swedish Meatball. I've been kind of referring it to that, on my Instagram post. So it's an all metric gearbox, and these shafts, it's all metric. And I've been taking, on the first shaft, I got a little footage of doing some of the keyway cutting in that and measuring it and that kind of stuff. So we're going to check that out in this episode. And I've also been filming the second shaft, which is the larger of the 2. So I'm going to have another series on building a shaft coming out real soon. Probably at least a 2-parter, maybe roughing it in and then finishing it, that kind of stuff. So we've got some of that footage that's going to be coming out real soon for you, okay? And I want to walk outside and try to give you a update on the concrete. We've had a few guys asking about that. Last week I got that video come out, and we've had a little bit of progress since then. So we'll go out there and take a peek at the concrete. I wanted to share some news with you. We're approaching the holiday season now. It's coming up. It's right around the corner, Christmas, and I'm planning on taking a vacation. I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be away from here for a little while, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be with Abby, and we're getting away from here. We're going on a true vacation, try to get back, get away from here and do some R&R. And I just wanted to mention that because I'm going to have a week period there where I'm not going to be doing any filming that week, for SNS, but I'm going to try my best to have a video for, that weekend, maybe of this gearbox shaft work that I'm working on now. And try to have something there for you. I guess I'm kind of mentioning it because I've been doing these videos for about 4.5 years now. I think there maybe have been 2 weeks, can't be more than 3 weekends that I have missed an upload. So that's a pretty long stretch of time that I've continued to upload videos without missing a weekend. And I do that because I don't want to miss a weekend, and I like providing that content for my viewers. But I am looking forward to a break, and if I don't get an opportunity to have all these videos ready before I leave, there could be a break there where I don't have an upload. So I'm just trying to let you know. I'm going to try to not let that happen, but hey, as long as you know why, it's because I'm going to be enjoying myself on vacation, all right? But we're going to see what we can do about continuing having the content at least every weekend here for the next few weeks. All right, so I just want to share that with you. So let's take a step outside and we'll check out the new concrete. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to jump to the machining footage for this week. Okay, guys, I'm giving you an update on the concrete situation here with the garage and the patio slabs. I had some guys that's asking about it and was looking forward to an update. So we'll kind of talk about it here for a minute. So Joe come back out about a week later and made the cuts. And you can see the lines there. You got a nice little grid pattern there. He made the cuts for the I believe what they call the control joints to help control the cracking. As I understand it, how they explain it to me, concrete is going to crack, and what you want to try to do is manipulate the cracks where you want it. So you put your control joints in there. So he did a good job. Nice straight cuts. Looks nice and even. And we got him going the other way as well. I also put the little stoop out there. That's where the entry door will be sitting. There, we got him going that way as well. I'm liking the finish of it with the what he called the hard trowel finish. I think it looks pretty good. It's got a nice smooth feel to it, and it's going to make a nice garage floor there. There's been a lot of comments, should I say, on the videos. There's a lot of people that think that all this concrete work is done wrong. I wanted to point out that I actually consulted with the building inspector on the proper way to have these poured for what I was wanting to do, and they guided me and they gave me what we have done is what you would call, I guess, the meet the minimum specs. You know, it doesn't have a big giant footer all the way around it because that's not what I needed. I'm not building a structure on it like, you know, like a new home or anything like that. So what's going to be going on this slab is a metal frame building, just like my carport. It's going to be the same style building as the carport, except it's just going to be fully enclosed with a roll-up door and an entry door. And whenever I told the the county down there when we were talking about it, they said it needed to be 4-inch thick material, and fiber reinforced concrete is good. So this is the 3,500 psi fiber reinforced concrete on both slabs. Both slabs are that way. So this is supposed to be an adequate slab for what I'm doing with it. We're gonna put that metal building on it. Now I had a company here locally quote me building a garage the same size, a stick-built garage, you know, where they would actually do the foundation all the way up to the shingles on the roof. And those garages started at $25,000, and I just can't afford a build like that. I can get a fully enclosed metal garage for probably a third of that, maybe. It's much cheaper to get a metal garage, and I just want this for storage. I want to be able to park the car right here, and then I'm going to have two sides. I want to go in there, I'm going to build some shelves around two sides and have lots of storage in there for both the machine shop, extra storage needs, you know, yard equipment, anything like that is all going to go out here. And I'm still thinking about maybe putting the air compressor in that back corner, you know, and then we can have a shelf over that as well. So that's kind of like my game plan for the garage here, and I'm hoping maybe early in the next year I can go ahead and get that ordered. Still saving up for it. All this work around here has really been taking it out of me, you know, but we're slowly making progress little by little. So here is the patio slab, and we actually put a footer here. It goes down in there. You can't see it going all the way down in there, but we have a proper footer. Again, I consulted with the county on the proper way to do it, so we meet at least the minimum requirements to add on to it. And we're going to be building a roof over this patio slab here, and I've already gotten with Joe. Joe's the guy that put the roof on the shop there, and we're going to do the same style roof that he did there right here on this for this new patio. So he'll be attaching to the house there. There should be a header board up there above the blocks, and he'll be attaching to that. And then we're going to have some 6x6 posts mounted to the concrete here. We're not going to sink them in the ground. They'll be mounted to the concrete, and probably have some 2x8 rafters. And we're going to do a tin roof this time instead of a shingle. So tin roof. And we hope to have that started sometime mid-January, maybe late January at the latest. I'm really looking forward to that. I had a lot of comments about the vents, asking what am I going to do about the vents. I'm not going to do a thing about the vents. You see them, they're open. They're open, and air can pass through there. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not planning on doing anything else. I will give you a little info that I've never shared before. Most people don't know. There used to be an in-ground pool back here. It was right in this area right here, and my parents had it put in for us, and they had concrete all the way around it, just like you see right here. And when they poured the concrete, that concrete went all the way up to right here. See that line? That concrete covered up all of these vents back here, and we never had one issue with the house with the ventilation. So no worries on the vents. They're going to stay just like that. I did have Joe Zerber Sr. come out and fix these brick right here. This whole section of brick was knocked out, and Mr. Zerber Sr., he was out here whenever they were doing the pour, and he and I talked that right there and made a little deal on that job. So he fixed the bricks, and he actually had to go find 2 bricks at the brickyard to match because he was too short, and it looks good. and he also put the little stoop there for the entry door. Okay, so there's where we're at on the concrete. Everything's looking pretty good. So there's your little update on it, and I'm really excited about all the progress that's continuing on around here. Hopefully in January we're going to see some more progress over there on the patio, and I'm really excited about getting that done. So I'll have a functioning patio here on my property, on my house, where I can do my outdoor cooking and hanging out with people and socializing, that kind of stuff. And hopefully in a few more months I'll have a garage out here as well. And whenever this garage goes up, my plan is to knock this shed down. I'm going to get rid of that. It's going to be gone, and we will eventually just have a driveway all the way through here from the front. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed, and again, thanks for all the support. Okay, all the turning is finished except for the threading now. Be thread there. This is the gear fit. Threads here, up there, bearing, threads. So this is the new gearbox shaft that I've been making here at work, and really didn't get much footage of turning this, but we do have another one that's a little bit bigger than this that I plan on trying to get some video of. But I'm going to try to get the 2 Keyways milled today, so we're going to get a little bit of video of that, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So the Keyway, this is a metric shaft. We're going to have a 32 millimeter wide Keyway, and the length of it is 160 millimeters long, and it's going to be 7 millimeters deep. I'm kind of saying that for fun because I have so many guys out there that read metric, and I've had a lot of requests for talking metric terms in a video, so this is your opportunity. We got a little bit of metric here for you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use a 1-inch end mill, which is kind of between 24 and 25 millimeters in diameter, and our finish size, which is 32 millimeter, I'm going to use an 1.25 inch end mill, which is about 9,000 smaller than 32 millimeter. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And I'm going to use a roughing end mill to plunge the depth. That is a center cutting roughing end mill. We'll plunge the depth, and I'll rough it out with that, and then we'll finish the Keyway with the 1.25 inch end mill to 32 millimeters wide. I just made my first plunge, and what I usually do is I got a couple splash guards I lay in here, and I put a dustpan in here to kind of catch a lot of the chips, and I use a little chip brush, and as I'm cutting I try to brush them off, and that way I don't have such a pile right here on top of the mill, and I can grab it and just kind of dump it out. So we're going to go ahead and start making our first pass. We're going to feed it 2 inches a minute. approaching my 0 on the digital readout. I had it set what I wanted. Alright, that's my 0 right there. So I'm going to use the 1-inch end mill to widen it out to near 32 millimeter. I'm going to back off 1/8 of an inch. I know that I'm mixing inch and metric here, but that's just how I work, guys. I'm sorry. Alright, we're going to move off 1/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to move the part to each side to rough it out close to the 32 millimeter. But I want to move off the ends 1/8 of an inch because I want to use the 1 1/4 end mill to cut the full radius right here. I'm going to stop it at 1/8 inch shy on this end. Feed it back across to the other side. So we got our keyway roughed out. I'm going to come in here with this really worn out smooth mill smooth file. It's got a little burr there. And I just want to knock that off. Just like that. Okay. Now, get a little puff to get rid of the dust there. So what I want to do is measure that depth. And I'm looking for a depth of 275. And I'm going to use a mic right here, a depth mic, to measure my depth right here. Now, this right here is guaranteed to raise some BS flags by some of my viewers. Doing YouTube, you'll learn that there's a few things out there that you can show on YouTube that's guaranteed to raise the BS flags. One is construction, 2 is pouring concrete, 3 is showing machine work. Pretty much anything you can imagine you put on YouTube, guaranteed to raise the BS flags. You just got to learn to weed out the haters and focus on the guys that really appreciate what you do. So measuring the depth with this depth mic right here, the flag throwers will tell you you're getting a false reading because, you know, when I use this file here on the top of that key, you're removing material. You are removing material. If you do it gently and just knock the burr off, you're going to be extremely close to what you would actually measure if you do the other mathematics and measure across the radius to the bottom of the key right there. Well, I have no way to measure that. And you can also measure off the top of the radius as well. I use the depth mic because it's easy and it works and it's guaranteed to work. Alright. We want our finish depth to be 275. Right now I'm at 263, so we're not far off. 5, 6, 7, about 7.5 thousandths, and we'll use our 1 1/4 end mill to finish that depth out right there. Here's the cutter we'll use, 1 1/4 2 flute end mill. This one's been used, but it's still in real good shape, and it'll do what we want it. Use an 1 1/4 collet. I'm going to start with the ends and cut that radius in first. Running 170 RPM. Just touching the bottom there. What I'm trying to do is get the top edge established. This is where I believe I'm at now. That would be the full diameter of the cutter cutting, and I've got a little edge there on each side. I'm going to zero out the digital readout and go ahead and crank down and see if my depth equals what I'm touched off at right there. And we're down to the very end. Alright, there's our, you can see our cutter touching now. Alright, and this is our Z axis. This is what I raised up, 261, and I measured it with the depth mic being 263, so that's right there where we need to be. So I'm going to take this to 275 on the depth. Okay, we'll go ahead and crunk her up, and we'll feed up on the table just a bit. Very easy. This mill don't like them big cutters, and it'll chatter once I start making a cut across there. Alright, we're going to leave it right about there. The chatter that you'll hear is as that cutter is moving across, the bottom of it rubbing the bottom of the key there because of the way they got the grinds. You know, those end mills are ground like that. So as that flute's coming across, it's cutting this back side over here, and that's how it reacts on this mill anyway. Once you can hear it kind of chatter a little bit, but once it gets past that 1.25 inch diameter, it'll clean itself up and it'll stop chattering. Right about there. So that was our first cut across there. Now we'll have to make a cut on each side to widen it out to our 32 millimeter. This is the actual key, and I did mic it, and it mics 32 millimeter or 1.259 inches. Now I want to try to make it as close to that as I can, with it being kind of a tight fit, really. Let's check our depth. I went ahead and knocked the top of it off there with the file lightly, and I'm at 276. Remember, my target was 275. It'll probably end up 275 once I widen it out a little bit. Adjustable parallel. Trying to, sometimes it tries to pinch it and pull it off there, so I'm looking over here and I'm getting a direct reading on the mic. I'm at 250.5. I like using an indicator here to do my little tiny offsets, in addition to the digital readout. I want 4 thousandths. This is the part where it can get a little bit tedious, and sometimes you have to make a couple more passes than what you're wanting to, and then sometimes, you know, you make 2 passes and you're done with it. Whoop, there goes the key. But I'm going to do just what I showed you. I'm climb cutting now, going this way, and then we'll move 4 thousandths to the opposite side and move back the other way. Take a measurement until we get our, I'm going to try to shoot for 1.258 inches. That should give us about 1,000 small and make a snug fit on the keyway, on the key itself I mean. That was our 2 passes, so I'm going to do some checking now. Now I'll tell you, there's the key again. I didn't tell you the right measurement earlier. Measuring, it depends on where you mic this at. 259, and there's some places where it was like 258, 258 and a half, 258 and a half. We're going to use the adjustable parallel to make a measurement, and we're going to use a stack of gauge blocks to check it too. Okay, the mic is telling me 258, and it looks like maybe 1 or 2 tenths. See if I can pull it off there. And it's 258, 2 tenths. Which is where I wanted it, really. So I mean, we did good there. So here's a stack of gauge blocks. That's 1.259, so it should be exactly, well, not exact, but it'd be 32 millimeter. Alright, it's tight. You're having to wiggle them down into that slot. And they're going. So we're going to take this one off. I have 108. Alright, so this should be 258, 1.258 inches. Alright, going in a little easier. So actually I think I hit my bogey. Yep, I think we did good right there. We hit our 1.258 in the gauge blocks there. So we got a 1, I think this is a 100. Where's it at? I'm sorry. So we got a 1, 150, and then we have 108 right there. So we did good. Deburred the top. We'll do a depth check again. Just a smidge over 275 deep. We are good to go. I'm going to drop this out. And just need to do some deburring, and this is going to be done. You see me mill the keyway there, and what I've done is I flipped it over, and I'm showing you a pretty good use of a planer gauge to be able to easily rotate a keyway 180 degrees and get it lined up. If you need to mill 2 keyways 180 degrees out, you can do your little stack up like this here with a planer gauge and get it nice and level. Pretty good use of a planer gauge right there. So we got one more key. We got another 32 millimeter keyway to put right here. Scraping in our sides using an 1 1/4 end mill here, making it 32 millimeters. Alright, just checking the keyway fit right here. I got my stack of gauge blocks, 1.259 inches, not millimeter. Alright, we got a good snug fit right there, so it should be a good fit for the key that's going to go in there. Working on the very last keyway now. These are the smaller keys. I got one on this thread as well. Those are for the bearing lock rings, the little spider rings that go on. There's our finished keyways there. I still got to deburr everything, deburr the keys. So this one is a 10mm by 3mm key. This one is a 12mm by 6mm key. And of course we had our 32mm keyway there. But as far as the shaft goes, minus the deburring I still got to do, this one's done. So we'll get it out of the vise here, get it cleaned up good, deburred. I'll give you one more shot of it next to the old shaft. There she is, finished up. We do have one more feature that I got to put in here. You see this one's got tapped holes in the ends, and there's one like that on both of them, so I still have to do that, but other than that it's done. I'll do these in the bore mill right here. Set the shaft in a V-block, find the center, and drill and tap it. I had mentioned in a previous clip that this one has been repaired before. It had been welded up. You can kind of see where the weld beads were. It's cracked on this inside here. There's a big chunk right there that just seems like it's just trying to pull out of there. This area has been welded up too. You can see the weld beads in there. And threads were messed up. Case like this, it's best just get you in a fresh piece of stock, make a new shaft, make it nice and new. I just finished those holes in the end, so I thought I'd go ahead and get you another shot of it, what it looks like here. So we have two 12mm holes, and it was 40mm center to center, 12mm holes. All right, so that shaft is now finished out. Nice setup with my nice and rigid clamp bars there. That'll straddle the V-block. Okay, so now this one is finished up. So this is the next one in line, and I'm getting ready to start it, and I hope that I can give you some video of it. No, I didn't make anything for this one here. All my parts have been going in the other gearboxes. This one was just a clean bearings and seals type job here. There's one of the boxes that I made a shaft for. That's one right there you see me do some work on. I was over here watching this thing spin, and Dylan's got this really cool strobe light that he uses to check and adjust RPM whenever we're doing our test here. So this should be running about 1,000 RPM. And then this is his strobe light right here. So he's using this to adjust on the strobe light what the actual RPM is. So it looks like we've got it at 106 RPM. And it's really cool seeing that because it looks like it's just sitting there not moving. And you can see a white line on there, and that's your reference line, correct? All right, what about up on the flywheel? There's a reference mark on the flywheel. That's a piece of electrical tape. Now you just doubled it?
Yep.
So now you got twice the amount of light coming out. You can see it on both sides there.
That's the same reference mark on both sides of the shaft.
Oh, okay. It's the same mark.
That's the same mark.
Yeah.
You see it twice.
Yeah, you just, because it's flashing twice per revolution, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Can you see it over here?
Yep.
And it'll be over on the other side? Oh, yeah. Way cool stuff, man. How's it testing out?
We haven't run our vibration tests on it yet. We just
Okay.
getting the speed and building our vibration program before we take our readings.
All right. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that.
No problem.
Now this is the small all-wiler hot oil pump that I made. I made the shaft for right here. That's that small shaft. And Junior, our technician here that builds our pumps, this is one of his builds. They always look great whenever they go out of here, and they look and function just like a brand new unit. Here's another nice pump that Junior finished rebuilding here not too long ago, and I didn't do any machining, but I did polish the shaft and the seal ring on this. This is an Ingersoll dresser pump, process pump. Just a few of our hydraulic cylinders that's been recently built and ready for the painting stage. The four shorties are identical. Those are little rams, and the longer one is a pneumatic cylinder. Now that next shaft in line that I got to make, this is the gears that fit it. These are new. This is a brand new gear here, and the big gear was rebuilt and put a new gear on that. That's the existing hub there, and they machined a new ring for it, installed it. But that's the gears that'll go on the next shaft that I got to make.